You are very welcome to HALT, a training that I wanted to put together because it helps people change their relationship with food. And what I want for you today is to walk away with this exact system that you can plug and play into your life and quite honestly see results in 14 days or less if you use the HALT system correctly. And so, emotional eating and binge eating is something that is rampant today. So many people diet in the hope to lose weight, but end up back where they started. Whereas, what I want to do today is I want to give you this system that will help you to target the areas where you emotionally eat, understand how, why, and when it's happening, and help you to address that. My name is Levi Kehoe, and I am a personal trainer, a performance consultant, and a nutritionist. My clients on the Deep Health program are all ladies. I don't just deal with ladies, but all the clients on the Deep Health program, and we'll touch in on that today, as there's a lot of clients who have used this system with, and I want to share their stories with you today too. So let me show you, first of all, what the HALT chart can do for someone. So this is a text message I received from a client who is using the HALT chart. And I think the language in this is really, really important. Again, looking at the language about feeling better in your body, both mentally and physically. Physically is great, but if we're not feeling good mentally, we don't feel like we've overcome those areas of emotional eating, then it's very difficult for us to maintain that physical feeling of wellness overall. So I wanted to share that with you and give you a second to read through it. This text was great coming in, understanding that this system works for people. So let me explain to you what exactly is involved in the HALT chart and how you can start to use it. Firstly, I want to show you what you may be doing that is probably a mistake that a lot of people make. So let me tell you what you do not need more of to overcome emotional eating. So you certainly don't need to track more. You don't need to use MyFitnessPal more. It's not determination that's stopping you. You don't need a better food plan. You definitely do not need to try the next new fad diet. So often people berate themselves, they give out to themselves, they think they need to knuckle down on MyFitnessPal, they think they need to get a better food plan, they think they need to try the next shake or fad diet, when quite honestly that is not the problem. Let me tell you first though what you do need to do. We know what we don't need to do right now. So we need to create space and time before binging, because quite honestly, it's probably not the food that's causing the issue for you. It's actually something a little bit deeper, and we're going to get to that. So when you create space and time before binging or emotional eating, it helps you to break away from that fast-acting chimpanzee brain that we all have. That's our emotional brain. That part of our brain is involved in anger, it's involved in reaction, and it's involved in emotional eating. And it can help us at times, but not when it comes to food. So creating that space and time before binging is going to help you to think logically with the thinking or logical part of your brain that's a little bit slower than the emotional or chimpanzee brain. We need to lose the all or nothing mindset. So the all or nothing mindset, or maybe the black and white mindset, is something that a lot of dieters face. And when it comes to dieting, I can give you a scenario. You start your diet on Monday, it's going great up to Thursday, and then you break away and you have a couple of biscuits and you feel like the thing is ruined. And that's the all or nothing mindset, and it leads you to start again on Monday, every single Monday, and ultimately leaving you frustrated and generally annoyed with yourself. We need to build small wins and consistency. So again, building small wins and consistency help to build a positive spiral of behavior. And the best way I can explain that is if you've got a great friend who's always there for you, no matter what you ask them to do, you find that you've got a lot of credibility, a lot of confidence with that friend. So they've built these small wins and now you trust them as a trusted advisor and friend. But if that friend was to let you down consistently, you would lose faith in them, you wouldn't believe in them, you'd lose motivation in them. And exactly that same thing comes down to what you do yourself with yourself. So if you start letting yourself down and feeling like you're failing every time, every Monday, you're certainly not going to build any credibility or confidence with yourself. So when you build small wins and consistently, you build that confidence and credibility with yourself. So what does HALT actually stand for? HALT is an acronym, and it stands for H, am I hungry? Am I anxious, angry, or avoiding something? L, am I lonely or bored? And T, am I tired, tense, or is it a treat? So this system is used as a reflective tool when we get to the HALT chart. You're going to see exactly what this means as we gather some momentum in the training today. So I want you to stick with this and pause it if you need to digest anything that I've said so far. So the HALT chart. When we reflect on the week, we look at our HALT chart, and we're going to get to that, as I say, and we reflect back. We can ask ourselves, in the areas that we maybe haven't had success, was I hungry in that situation? So when we're hungry, we tend to have low blood sugars, which essentially leads us to crave something that's a fast-acting energy. Sugar is a good one for that, but ultimately it doesn't help us reach our goals of being consistent with our nutrition. So when we look back, am I hungry? We can see the patterns where maybe we're skipping meals, and that can really help us to understand why we're skipping meals. Is there someone that is impeding our meals? Is work impeding them? Do we need to start to say no to people? So we can start to look at food not necessarily being the problem, but actually maybe people or emotions around that missed meal. Am I anxious, angry, or avoiding something? So when I'm anxious, angry, or avoiding something, am I using food? And again, we look back on the HALT chart when we mark it in, and we can see if we were anxious, angry, or avoiding something. Is there an area in your week or day that you're using food to mask anxiety, anger, or avoiding something? And again, this is about learning in patterns. It's not about perfection. It's about learning, failing, learning, and building consistency over time. L, am I lonely or bored? So really, bored is not really an emotion. Again, that can be a masking agent for food. It might be something that we're avoiding. Am I lonely? Do I need to reach out to my therapist, my friends, my family? Because this area of my week seems to be something that is consistently not happening as I would like it to be. And again, this is the reflective tool. We're looking back now at the week and over the week in a whole. T, am I tired or tense, or is it a treat? And so for females, being tired or tense around your menstrual cycle is something that affects a lot of females. And so what we do in the Deep Health program is we would give specific supplements, specific nutritional interventions to help with that. That's a little bit outside the scope of this training today, but what I want you to be aware of is, are you using food to comfort yourself around the time of your menstrual cycle? And that can be something that is slightly imbalanced in your nutrition and can be solved with specific targeted nutritional interventions. But this is about bringing awareness to your week and your food. So again, am I tired or tense? Is it something I'm exhausted when I get home from work? And do I skip out on my dinner and maybe binge out or emotionally eat on a big packet of biscuits when I'm exhausted? Can we start to see those patterns? That's the question I want you to ask yourself today. Is any of this sticking out for you? And is any of this starting to maybe trigger something in you? So we've now went over how to reflect on our week and the questions to ask ourselves and look for those patterns. But how do we actually create that space and time that we spoke about? How do we create the space between our emotional, primitive brain that's fast to act in anger, fast to act in reaction, fast to act when we need to be safe and away from danger, but will sabotage us when it comes to emotional eating? Because again, we eat out of emotion. We don't even taste the food, we don't even think about the food, but we get to the end of that packet of biscuits and we start to think more logically. That's when the logical brain kicks in, but a little bit too late. So how do we create that space and time? Well, we ask ourselves two questions. Will this nourish or punish me? And how do I want to feel about myself when I go to bed tonight or wake up in the morning? So 2 key questions. And if you can just put yourself in the position of maybe around that time when you've emotionally eaten. So just take 10 seconds to do that. Now picture for me, if you could ask yourself, will this nourish or punish me? Is this something that I'm doing consciously or unconsciously? How do I want to feel about myself when I go to bed tonight or get up in the morning? Do I want to carry that guilt, that feeling, or do I want to create that space and time and actually think logically? Now, keep in mind this won't always work, but what you're doing is practicing training that prefrontal brain, that thinking logical brain, to become more active during these times. And when you do that, you can start to really create that space and time and make those logical decisions and understand that maybe you don't need that extra 10 biscuits. Maybe one is good right now. Then we look at lapse, relapse, collapse. Can we keep it at lapse? So when we look at lapse is one occasion, relapse could be multiple lapses, and collapse is when we feel like we're back at square one. So we want to keep it at lapse, even if we get to our week. We skip out on breakfast and maybe we don't have a great lunch, and we have a packet of biscuits and a bag of crisps and maybe an extra one or two here or there. Can we start to sit down and go, I still have an opportunity to have a nutritious dinner. I can still win today. And that's the idea of the HALT chart, is that it gives you more than one chance to win each day. Now, let me explain what that actually means. So most of us, myself included for a long time, thought that every day fell, and when I had something that wasn't on my plan or some ridiculous diet, that I would have to start again the next day. Whereas what we need to do is lose the all or nothing mindset and understand we have 3 chances to win each day. So when we've got 3 chances to win, it means that we lose the all or nothing mindset. And so even if the first part of the day goes to pot, we still have a chance to win in the evening. So can we keep it at one lapse and not collapse for the entire day? So some really interesting questions to ask yourself. And I think we can all relate to this. We've maybe had something that wasn't on some ridiculous plan on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and we said, let's start again the next day. Whereas can we actually keep it at one occasion and understand we can still win for the rest of the day? So, as we spoke about, HALT gives you 3 chances to succeed, not just one chance to fail. And so what I mean by that is, when you have the HALT chart and you're using it, you have a breakfast, lunch, and a dinner. And what you use on that is you use a star or a smiley face, and anyone you don't actually complete, you get a chance just to leave that blank. We don't associate negativity with the HALT chart. So what I mean by 3 chances to win: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If breakfast doesn't go to plan, we have lunch and dinner. We still can come out of that day feeling like we've won. So that really does help the black and white thinking, or the all or nothing mindset, which is strongly associated with emotional eating. So this is a text message that I wanted to share with you, because this is directly impacting with the HALT chart. It's actually attached to it and shows exactly how it works. So the HALT chart is something that you see here is not perfect, but for this client, we see that sometimes on the weekends there's a pattern of skipping out on meals. So we start to address that. We see the pattern. We ask, am I hungry? Am I anxious? Am I lonely? Am I tired or tense? So again, we can ask these questions, see the pattern, start to address this, and then start to get this client winning. So you can read here the goals that this client has actually set out, our hydration, their activity goals. And when we focus on health as a compass, then fat loss is generally a byproduct of that. And when we stay active as humans, as we need to do, then fat loss is a byproduct of that. But what we're trying to do here is not talk about fat loss. We're talking about health as a marker, exercise as something that's just good for your body. And this particular client had actually messaged me and said, you know what, I had a breakthrough. They said, I start to view exercise as not a way to lose fat, but as a way to look after my health and my body. And that just has much more longevity than a 6-week shred or a 21-day little black dress or whatever the case may be. We're looking at longevity. We're looking at actually healing your relationship with food. So this is the HALT chart. Now, this is used exactly as if we have went through, and it has reminders of all of the points that we've went through at the bottom. And so what's really, really important about this is to stick it up on the fridge using the 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., 7 p.m. to bed, and we're using that on a daily basis. So we've 3 chances to win each day, which is super, super important. What we use is stars or smiley faces, as you see with my previous client has been using. And anything we don't get, we leave blank. We then get to the end of the week and we can ask the acronym HALT. Am I hungry? Am I anxious, angry, or avoiding something? Was I lonely or bored? And am I tired or tense? And you can see then the patterns that are emerging. We then come along and we start to address that, or you may start to address it yourself by using the HALT chart and understanding the patterns that you're seeing. Questions at the bottom to create space and time between the fast-acting brain and the slower brain. Will it nourish or punish me? How do I want to feel about myself when I go to bed tonight or wake up in the morning? And what that is actually training is instant gratification versus delayed gratification. And believe it or not, you can start to make that part of the brain stronger, almost like bringing it to the gym by practicing delayed gratification. The more you practice it, the stronger that part of your brain will become. So that's the HALT chart. What I'd like you to do is to print that off. You'll see the PDF download below this video. So again, you can go ahead and download it from there. Okay, so what's the best nutritional strategy for you? Because I know that's what you're here to learn. And I want to answer that for you. The best nutritional strategy for you is the individual one. But you may only need one strategy. Now, the HALT chart is just one of the strategies that we use inside the Deep Health program. It's not something that we use with everyone because we don't have to. We may use different strategies. But again, understanding what strategy works well for you individually is key. And again, that could be a light bulb moment where you've tried a lot of things, you've tried a ton of diets, and then you try one of the systems, maybe like the one we've done, and that light bulb clicks and you go, this is the information that I've needed all my life. And I think that that's really important to note because it's not a one-size-fits-all system. But I've talked about the Deep Health program, and I'm not going to ask you to join the program. This is not a sales pitch. What I wanted to do is to give you as much information as I physically could to help you to walk away with a deeper understanding of what's involved in emotional eating. So instead of asking you to join the program, what we're going to be doing is gifting just 10 women a very, very special gift today. But before I get to that, I want to just share some inspiration because I think that's what we're all here for. And these are 2 ladies that work with me inside the Deep Health program, working with me quite a while, but have built some massive consistency. And I just want to draw your attention to the first text message. It's about someone actually joining for a specific reason and then actually getting something else out of it, feeling better within themselves and focusing on health as a compass for their direction with their training and their nutrition. The next one, I just always love this text message. It's something that I got off of Trish, and I consistently look at it whenever I need to pick me up. Some really powerful words, but I hope that inspires you and lets you know that you are able to make change. It just takes the right system. It just takes the right support, but you can do it, and I can promise you it is possible. You can see this by everything that I've shown you today. So for those of you that are still with me, what we're going to talk about on the call, now I can't guarantee that there will be the 10 spaces left because we only release 10 every so often when we are taking on clients, or again, if we're just looking to have health evaluation and strategy sessions. There's absolutely no pressure to buy on the call, but what I want to do is run you through what is involved in the calls on the health evaluation and strategy sessions. So what we're going to do is we're going to assess the current eating patterns across your week that are railroading your progress. So we're going to look at what eating patterns are stopping you from getting what you need out of your training and your nutrition. We're also going to assess your goals, give you actionable steps to make permanent change. But what we want to do is we want to sharpen the goals, make them a little bit more targeted. So making the goals more targeted, making them a bit more specific, and often letting go of the ones that maybe are too general. But I'm going to be able to help you with that on the call. I am going to run through the Deep Health program. I won't even ask you to sign up. We don't want anyone to feel under pressure to sign up. We don't want anyone that's not ready to sign up. Because quite simply, what we want is we want your commitment, whatever that is. We just want your best effort. That doesn't have to be the person beside you's best effort. That has to be yours. And that's what we want when people join the program with us. And we're able to really facilitate that by giving back too. So again, if it's someone who maybe is not ready to join for 6 weeks or 6 months on the call, that's absolutely fine. There's absolutely no pressure to come on board to the program. As I say, I will run you through it. Maybe it's for you and that's something that you really want to do, and that's cool. Look, we would love to have you on board. But if it's not and you want to wait, or maybe you're just happy to walk away with the information that we've shared, or giving you the system that actually clicks with you on the call and you want to go off and try that, then that's absolutely perfect. No problem whatsoever. Outside of that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on the call today. If you do want to book into one of our health evaluation and strategy sessions, you'll scroll down and you'll see the link to book a call. Again, there are only 10, so if there's none left, I do apologize. That is our 10 gone for this month. But hopefully we will be releasing more within the coming weeks as well. Outside of that, again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you found that wildly valuable. Take care.